Not so very long ago, sailors avoided this island like the plague itself, because this was the most dreaded of all and is known by many names.
Culion is the place of the living dead. Once you came here, you will die here.
Beneath the tropical facade of a fisherman's village lies morbid scars and tales of ancient disease, ingenuity, and survival.
We all love Culion.
We all love Culion now. Yeah.
It's a place so complex and curious that we simply couldn't just sail by.
On the road, I've been away for far too long, but now I'm on my way back home. I hear the west winds calling out my name. They're telling me to head your way, down your road and past your gates. Keep your eyes on the horizon. I was looking to belong when I'd already found my home.
Do you hear that? Oh yeah, there's another one we're passing right now. Oh yeah, just hit another one or something. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over there. That's some bullshit. Yeah.
Won't be long, I'm there before the setting sun, for you to fall into my arms, the place I call my home. I was looking to belong when I already found my home.
Oh my gosh. So we are sailing to the island of the living dead, and it has been
A nightmare!
Yes! I mean, well, no, not really. It's just been a very challenging day. Nothing at all, like, you know, I don't know. I should stop expecting anything. You know, you look at the weather though, and you're seeing what you see, and you're thinking, cool, I got this. And then it's just nothing like that when we get out here. It's just too much land around, creating all these different wind patterns and this craziness. And then you think, okay, good angle, let's get the spinnaker out. Get the spinnaker out. Nope. Wind is shifting like crazy and going up and down, and so never mind, can't keep the spinnaker out. Go to drop the spinnaker, you're kind of focused because you know, you bring it down, you just looked, and then bam, 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 hit a black float, which is black, and the sun is in your eyes. It's just, no, you cannot see them. It's just too difficult. Thank goodness it's like we have the electric motors on, just kind of keeping our course as we're doing these sail changes. And that's probably the only reason I could even hear that I hit that thing, which is also semi-terrifying, right? Like there's just too many obstacles all in and around here between the pearl farms and the fishing buoys and everything else. It almost feels like you just can't put a sail up because you have to be so laser focused on looking for things that unless you're out like open sea, forget about sailing inside here. It's just nuts. But a challenge, it, man, keeps you on your toes. I have had zero time today, but it's good. We're learning. It is making us practice all the things, so that is good. And we're almost there. It's gone by in a hot flash. So, prepare to anchor?
The good news is we needed to test the spinnaker anyway. It's our first time to fly a spinnaker by ourselves. Whoop whoop! Went out good, it furled back in good. I think we feel comfortable now. We've flown the reacher, we've flown the spinnaker. We've done the staysail 100 times and the Solent. Feel really good about all of our sails. Now we just need to get some wind and we need to get out to open ocean so we can actually fly now for a longer period of time than 5 minutes.
All the bunkers are coming back in.
Almost to the end of the chain.
How much chain do we have? 60 meters?
60 meters. According to the chain counter, we're at 58 meters right now. because there's still a couple of meters inside the longeron. That's what HH recommends based on weight. And then we have like 20 something meters of line. If I could do it over, I might do 80 meters of chain instead of 60, because every time we're anchoring in like 10 meters, 15 meters, and we're putting all of the chain, I'm putting the bridle on as far as I possibly can, and then I'm doing line out. It's fine, but if we had to anchor in 20 meters, that wouldn't be very good scope. I mean, it can be done. We have line. It's fine. I just haven't figured out how to attach the bridle to the line. I gotta like look that up.
We've always had enough chain.
Yeah, on our last boat we had 200 feet of chain when we bought the really bad chain. So then a year later we upgraded to like 260 feet. So I know I'm going from feet to meters, but that's just what we had on our old boat, and this is what it's marked on this boat. You know, I'm just kind of messed up. We're like European, American, I don't know what we are anymore.
Yeah. Confused.
One really cool thing though, HH programmed in the amount of chain. So when I get close to the end of the chain, it beeps and warns me. It says basically like beep, 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 hey, pay attention, you're about to run out of chain and you're gonna move into your line. And then as soon as I get to that spot, it warns me again. Same thing when I'm bringing it up. So like the last 3 meters, it stops. So it stops bringing it up so you don't like accidentally like ram the anchor straight into the longeron. So it stops it and then you have to click it again and it finishes bringing it up. Little features like that. It's a Lumar auto anchor 730. It's all built into the helm, to here. It's all programmable. It's cool. I'm very excited about this.
It is really nice.
Yeah. It's very nice.
Back down. Okay, I'm like at 20% on the motors right now. Yeah, we're holding. No.
I need a beer after that day. Holy cow.
Gosh, yeah. Welcome to Leper Island.
Quick moment here to say thank you to today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN, for helping to make this video possible. Now, we don't recommend or take sponsorship from anything that we don't personally use and find value in. So when I say that we couldn't imagine traveling the world without a good VPN, I really mean it, sponsorship or not. And Surfshark is legit the best VPN we have ever used. Now, if you don't know what a VPN is, it stands for Virtual Private Network, and it encrypts all the data between our devices and the internet so that nobody can steal or track our personal information. And while we appreciate the extra layer of protection, the big reason we love Surfshark is the ability to change our IP address to virtually place ourselves anywhere in the world so that we can unblock websites and content that we couldn't access otherwise. So we can avoid pesky geo restrictions on sites like Netflix or apps like Spotify. And in some countries, they even have restrictions on YouTube. So it's been vital to publishing these videos at times. It's seriously an invaluable tool for us. And right now, if you scan the QR code on the screen or use our discount code Wynns, Surfshark will give you an extra 4 months for free. Now, if you're not sure if it's a good tool for you, no worries. They offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there is no risk to try it out. Local boat. Just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link down in the description below. Be a good girl, Curiosity.
A beautiful morning.
Woo! It's a windy day. It's a good day to be exploring land.
So cool, all those houses on stilts.
I know, I love it. It's like their own little floating village.
Hold on. Hey. Yeah, microphone all salty already.
Oh, and you.
And me.
Could have just swam to shore.
I think I'm gonna have to.
Oh my goodness, what an exciting morning. Okay, so we're meeting up with one of the locals who's gonna take us throughout Culion here. But getting to land is proving to be a bit of a challenge today with the weather. Normally there's kind of a sandy beach area, but not good for today. Anyway, he's got us going over to a little private spot, he said, that he thinks is gonna be safe.
Yeah, always an adventure when you're on a sailboat. Just getting to land sometimes.
Culion was a Spanish fortress in the 17th century, but it was a gloomy day in August of 1904 that would isolate the island for the next 100 years. Because on that day, they were declared a leper colony.
perfectly underneath the Culion sign. What do you think?
Just having a look and see if it rushes forward as the tide's going out.
This is my coffee thing. Yeah. I normally welcome everyone with a coffee, but in our case, we're gonna have a coffee experience.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All
So
right.
welcome.
Thank you,
welcome,
yeah.
everyone. Welcome to you. Welcome to Culion. I'm gonna tell you the story of the place, the story of the people, the story of my people, my story. I've been part of this. I'm a welcoming icon like this.
Nice.
Okay, you're gonna love this. You're gonna take a trike.
Good morning. This is our very first trike ride. We've just been walking everywhere. Clearly, we have been depriving ourselves of this experience. I feel like it's so very different riding in this trike versus taking a cab in the city or anything else.
Okay.
That's all right, Exodus.
Yeah. This is not a farm. This is just like a backyard. Coconut, bananas, and cashew
Oh, yeah.
in one place. And some of them were coffee trees. Yeah, Jason, you got to picture this. They're already drying. They're not that beautiful because
Well, it's not
the most of it, they are pink and red. You can imagine all this color pink and red, you know. Let me do it.
Go for it. Show us how it's done.
Yeah. Kids, animals, like wild cat here, they're gonna eat them because this is edible. Yeah. Yeah, sweet. No, you have to try this one. You have to do it yourself.
You eat the whole thing.
No.
Just the honey on the outside.
Yeah.
But it still tastes good.
That's your coffee. That's your coffee bean. That's your coffee bean.
I'm surprised they look so dry,
I know.
but they're still wet on the inside.
It's still very fruity and very flavorful.
This house that we are about to see the local to do some traditional cooking. Okay? The one that you had from your hand, and this is what look like dried one.
Natural process.
The natural, yeah. The next is they pound them.
And I complain about having to hand grind my beans. This is next level.
You won't complain anymore.
No.
What's so surprising, she's not hitting it super hard. It's just enough to bust out the beans, and she's not cracking it. Like, it's staying intact. And I know green beans are hard. These are hard little seeds, but that's still, I mean, it's pretty impressive. I would charge so much for that cup of coffee. That is just a lot of work. It's a very different process versus like what is happening today.
So the next process, of course, is the roasting. You know, traditional way is.
Oh, those are.
Yeah, this is like using charcoal.
Those are some burnt.
Okay.
So you like it dark roasted?
Traditionally, it's dark roast.
Dark roast.
You don't do brown, etc.
He's very excited. I love it. I love his enthusiasm.
We will not do the traditional pounding. You know. You like pour over?
Of course.
Yeah, we're gonna do the pour over. You.
Very dark roast. Oh my gosh.
It's very dark. Yeah.
Surprisingly, I'm going to be completely honest here. Those beans are so dark that I thought there's no way it's just going to taste like charcoal. It's shockingly pretty decent coffee. Yeah, I mean, realistically, way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
You put a little scoop of sugar in there, but I haven't stirred it. I drink it. I mean, I am drinking it, but I would drink it.
So Filipino style.
Yeah, Filipino style.
Oh, no wonder.
Yeah, Filipino style. Okay. Filipino, I want to show you how Filipino I am.
Making his own 31.
Yeah. But at least I had the real copy.
Exactly.
That is Filipino
And
style.
that's our copy.
Yeah.
James Hoffman, got an experience for you.
What does a great cup of coffee taste like? This might seem like a strange question, but it's one a surprising number of people ask me.
Oh wow, those bananas are growing right through. Wow,
And a
look at
zucchini.
that stalk. Incredible.
Yeah. Very healthy banana tree.
This is green, but we call it green banana. They never get.
Yellow.
No, this is another banana. We call it green banana.
You serious?
Yeah. See, I can eat this already.
Never goes
Yeah.
yellow.
When it's not that very very sweet like the yellow one, but
He's totally right. It oh my gosh, it almost has like a tartness, like a slight citrusy flavor to it. It is different. Learning new things every day. I've never ever seen this variety of banana before. There we go, look at that. We're gonna do the hard work. I'm gonna take those back, crunch those open, roast them, just for fun. Next up.
Of all the diseases that have plagued humanity, very few carry such a heavy stigma as leprosy. Even the word conjures images of biblical beggars and those considered untouchable. It was so feared that it was a crime to be diagnosed and not turn yourself into the police. Men, women, and children from all over the country were ripped from their homes, families, and communities. And for a long time, leprosy was thought to be an extremely contagious disease. So Culion was divided into two worlds. There were the lepers on one side and the staff and volunteers on the other.
This is where the gate was.
There were two gates that defined the boundaries, and the rules were very different on each side.
Now I invite you to cross. Okay?
Okay.
Now you are inside.
Now we're inside the
in this word.
leprosy.
Yeah. The word for the leproso and the word for the non-leprous.
But the lepers were never
Now,
allowed to cross
yes,
this way.
You know.
Two
In one
different
town,
worlds.
two different places, two different policy under one head because of the restriction during that time. And in 1970, they disregard this. And 2 years after that, my dad brought me, because this is where the pier is, brought me in.
To put it mildly, life was hard in the early days. They were prisoners, segregated into male and female camps.
Building who had been a nursery where the babies would be separated from their mom by the
government?
the hospital. Wow. So
The hospital is running the whole island.
yeah. And the chief and his staff was the first line of leadership. There was a line of leadership among the lepers themselves. They called them the Culion Advisory Board, which my grandmother became a part of it.
Wow.
He became once a leader.
Wow.
And that's the reason why I'm doing this, because I want to continue the legacy of my grandmother, who was a leper.
Yes.
Yeah. My two grandmothers, they were
Two.
lepers, yeah. And one of them stayed here long, and she became like a prominent person among their own kind.
And part of the board.
And part of the board, I became a chairman.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So it's a Balala nursery. It's never been kept very well. I'm sorry, but the history is more than the physical.
And the children
of the
had
leper.
leprosy, or
No,
they
no.
were children
They're
of
not.
lepers?
They were children of lepers who doesn't have leprosy, so for their own protection, they'll be taken away from the mom upon birth. And just like visit them like twice a week. They can see them from the glass or touch them from the glass only.
Can you imagine? For the first 5 years of your child's life, once a week, you get to come to a window like this, and this would be your only contact and your only interaction. Oh, that just breaks your heart.
In the late 70s, it was like, okay, we're gonna stop that, And 2 years after that, my dad brought me here to see my grandmother for the first time.
Oh my gosh.
Because children were not even allowed to come to this side before. But since my grandmother were sort of
On
a
the
leader
board,
during
yeah.
that time on the board, okay,
I guess the way that leprosy was spread, it wasn't contact alone, I guess, because I'm so surprised that babies could be born and not be born with the leprosy.
Yeah, it is basically a long exposure. Not just a leprosy, but must be an infected one. The one who are not taking medicine at all. So that's the reason why in the past, it is spread out like a pandemic because they don't know how to treat them, they don't know what it is. But of course, it was not genetic though. You cannot pass it by genes, by birth. But it takes 5 to 20 years before people show up. So the study of this were not that easy during those times. So my grandmother has the symptoms when she was 10 years old. Or maybe she got that 5 years ago, from the environment, from the animals, or from whoever,
Yeah.
The good thing about it, now it could be studied well and it's curable,
Yeah.
We're talking about the first nurses. That's their congregation. They were our heroes. They were.
No, our first heroes, our first sisters who came from the different parts of the world, like French and Vietnamese. They came here in the Philippines. Their main mission is to take care of the leper patients here and also their families, because they came from different parts of the Philippines and they are very lonely, sad, they lack faith, hope. So we took care of them, their faith, give them hope. Of course, with the other religion here, with the Protestant, with the Muslims and born again, we take care of them. Not only the sisters, but all of us took care of them. welcome to Culion.
Thank you very much.
And I'm gonna show you where they
Sir
live.
will show the convent.
Yeah, the
because I'm
convent.
going somewhere.
Okay, you're going somewhere.
Thank you. So they came here not knowing they were coming for lepers.
They heard about
Yeah,
lepers
leprosy,
or
yeah.
leprosy, but they don't have any experience. They resided here in this convent. They arrived here in May 25, 1906. They served as the first nurses, with one doctor and 370 patients, And it is adding, every 3 months.
More people coming.
Of course,
Yes.
those people afflicted with leprosy from all over the Philippines, they were collected and they were brought here. They were really our hero to take care of the early patients who are here. And they live here. I just want to show you their,
Until
that
now.
sister live here. Yeah, that's the convent that we have. This is their stairway, 330 steps towards the Eagle landmark. Built 1926. It's not only just a landmark, it became a tribute to those nurses who volunteered to come here. It's gonna be hot up there.
Okay.
All right?
It's okay.
It's okay with you? Okay, it's okay with them. Right? So you're gonna go ahead.
All right.
Steps?
330. Okay, are you ready? Okay.
Oh, 330 steps. Okay. Oh, so I'm going to be a little bit sweaty.
Ah,
after this. Yeah.
It's sweaty.
It's a good thing we had coffee. Give it. Whoa! This one's straight up. Okay. I'll stop for a B-roll shot.
Yeah. Yeah, stop for a B-roll shot. Uh-huh. Oh, hi. We're here. That wasn't...
You're not quite there.
No, but it's not as painful as I thought this was going to be.
Yeah.
It is hot. It's not the incline. It is the heat.
And it's not even late. It's still breakfast time. Whew. Oh, it's getting pretty behind me. Yeah.
A good memorial to old people that came here and served. And they came and they worked with people that nobody else wanted to even be on the same massive land as. So I feel like that was a real service that those people did. So, and what a view.
I can imagine how symbolic that would be when you're coming on a boat from the mainland or from Coron. That's the first sign you see from far away. And then it's also when you leave this island, if you get to leave this island. Most people didn't, but if you were working, you could leave the island. And when you did, that was the last thing you saw. And to think about all the people you touched and interacted with and the fact that you might not ever see them again. I mean, I'm sure people would watch that sign disappear into the distance as they motored off into the sea. And kind of gives me chills because that whole time was just insane. I guess you can't even imagine these days.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was only in 2006 when the island was declared leprosy-free by the World Health Organization. The citizens of Culion didn't bother waiting for that declaration. There was a big turning point in the 1940s when both treatment and the eventual cure for leprosy were invented.
This is the cure for leprosy. Crazy, you're just looking at little packets of tiny little pills that look very normal and you think, wow, that totally changed thousands of people's lives. That's just this little technology and this, just kind of like mind-blowing.
And that's when Culion became the island of hope.
While they were being treated, the government started to build a house for them, a community, and that community was still there.
Okay, perspective on where we are. Welcome. It's
Welcome.
like a watchtower.
Yeah, and monitor the community, the whole community from here. In 1930, it became the biggest organized one.
The biggest organized.
Leper community in the world.
Wow.
It was small though, but it was the most organized. Because
and that's just because the way the structure of the community,
the structure of the community, the services provided is being kept clean, and the people has been taken care of. Because you have to understand, to begin with, there were inmates coming here. Not behind bars, but they were just like...
They couldn't leave.
So the government, think about, why don't we put a community American style so that they're gonna experience how to live normal under abnormal condition. That's the word, normal
under abnormal conditions.
Anybody that was still physically able and wasn't like wheelchair bound, you know, in the hospital, they gave them 2 hours of work a day.
Yeah, according to what they can do out of their talent, skill, their educational background. Some of them, they are doctors already when they come here, or nurses, or even lawyers. I would say lepers, serving their own kind.
Once the community was formed, it seems like they really started to not just survive, but actually thrive.
Yeah, thrive, you know. When they found the care, the love, and the acceptance, and, you know, they found that they can function well here, they started loving this community. They didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
They didn't want to leave the place, even when they were, like, bit cured during those times, and they're allowed to.
They didn't want to, because this became their home.
This became their home. That's what, you know, it's become their paradise.
Yeah, so instead of it being a sentence, they kind of turned it into something,
That's
silver linings,
the paradox.
I suppose.
That's the paradox.
Yeah.
This is where they, of the old housing that they have. Filipino, when you said family, it's not 2 or 3 people. It's like 10 or 20 in one room. Like, you know, that's Filipino. Yeah. So you imagine how many doors, how many families, how many people. We call it glorieta, a stage. Even me, I remember growing up, during special occasion, they play, or they use this for dancing, playing, even speech.
So this is where the leprosy
band, the
band
leprosy band, you know. Most of the time, because they were patients, of course, they are not that very capable of going around, you know. They just stay on their windows.
That's fun to think about.
You see this old house here beside this granny stairway? Same house. This is where my grandmother were brought in the late 50s. While she was living here, she worked as secretary. Then she was so smart that after a year or 2, she worked her way up to become the chairman of the board.
Wow, so she started as a secretary
then she
and
became
became a chairman.
Okay, the people called her a mayor, not a political mayor, but the mayor of the lepers,
community.
Of the community. You see?
Yeah.
So I got this legacy of a grandmother who became the first lady mayor. How about that? Okay. So in the morning, line up here to get their food: fresh fish, fresh vegetable, fresh meat on a daily basis. They don't have refrigerator. You know, they have to cook it. But rice, onions, the coffee, and the sugar, they have to get it once a week. Then go back to their own houses. Then, in the afternoon, they have to line up in the injection clinic to get their shot.
They do the injections every day?
It depends on the severity, but it must be every day.
Wow.
Pasalamatan natin ng Diyos sa araw na ito. Lalo sa ating mga kapatid na kasama-sama
So this was originally built
in 1711 to 1740.
By the Spanish, and this one's particularly unique because of the coral.
Yeah, the corals. Those corals were taken from Mexico. They didn't have yet the technology here to cut off and put them into block like this. They built this as a fortress with 4 bastions where there was the cannon and the lookout. In 1906, the American brought the first batch of lepers. That's always been the docking area, and that's where it started and ended. And it kept coming until it reached its peak in 1928, 8,000 of them, mostly Catholic. There was a need of putting up a bigger church, but they have to put the whole fort down and using the materials for the new church that started in 1930 up to 1939. So you are now walking on both generations, you know, the Spanish and the American generation.
Yeah. It's pretty wild to think about, really.
Thank you for seeing the Spanish heritage in Culion. The church is not just for a religious thing, it's culture, history of the people, how they've been united under one roof. All of them were dependents. All of them has to seek hope.
Yeah.
All of them has to be in one place of Culion, where the church was like a symbol of unity for the sake of the people. You know, I appreciate you coming here, and thank you so much for listening to the story of the place, the story of the people, my story.
Yeah, it is your story. And your whole town. Thank you for sharing all of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what all do we need?
Need some more eggs. Grocery stop before we head back.
How did she do?
Looks just like when we left her.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I think you might have to come around to those steps though, otherwise
Yeah, I can now because it's calm enough.
Eggs and all of that jazz.
Just throw them.
We'll be fine. Bye, thank you so much.
We love Culion!
Home sweet home.
Trying not to step on the eggs or my camera, and I almost went overboard. Wow, what a day! We came to this island knowing nothing other than what everybody said. It's the island of the living dead, or it's the island of no return, or all these sort of negative connotations. And what I got out of that day was hope and love and community.
Not that I didn't think that there was going to be maybe some sort of great story about it. I just didn't expect it to be all of that.
Yeah.
It really was quite inspirational. It made me think about how lucky we are to be born at a time of medicine, really. Like, we didn't have no polio, no tuberculosis. Leprosy was essentially on its way out by the time we were born. So it's incredible, all these things that the previous generation had to deal with that we have not experienced. And I can't help but have that hope for the major things that we have right now, like cancer. I'm thinking, hopefully the next generation is going to say, do you remember when people used to have to go through chemo and how crazy that was? And now they just take a pill and all cured.
Yeah.
So I really hope for that. Those medical breakthroughs are incredible.
What a lovely day. And Pastor, he prefers to be called Pastor because he is a pastor, and we call him Hermie and Pastor Hermie, and he's like, no, just call me Pastor.
Because even in town, everybody, oh, hey, Pastor, so I think that's just what everybody says.
His zeal and his happiness, and he was just so, I love Culion, and just that whole personality, it was infectious. So it was what a lovely day.
He has such a passion for the people here and the story, and that, there was just so much stigmatism around it, and now it's such a place of vibrancy and life, and they turned it into that. The people, they came here, which were like, it felt like a major sentence. I can only imagine, like your life was over.
I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about Culion and this area and leprosy. Thank you for joining us.
Definitely a wild experience for us, Wow.
If you make your way out this way, it's definitely worth it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. It's not easy to get here, and there's a couple of hotels on the island. They're very small.
Little,
hostels or Airbnb type things.
But the local experience you could get here versus some of the more traditional tourist routes, I would definitely, whether that's Culion or one of the others, but I'd say get off the beaten path when you come here, because the areas that are touristy are very touristy. Doesn't mean that they're not great, but it's not that far to go from Coron town to here. And worth the boat trip. Come and spend a few days. This is like, you would get the real Philippines plus a lot of history and just really lovely local people. So loved it. Loved it. On to the next one. I can't believe it. Oh, we're gonna be through here anytime.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was good. Cheers to Culion.
Good night. Good morning. Whatever you're watching this.
It's good night for us.